Hello everybody! Happy Wednesday, welcome to HearthCenter. This is week 2 of the new pro season. I am Donde, excited to be here as always, and I'm joined by two very fine gentlemen below me on the screen tonight, starting with TwoStarMako. Mako, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about how I just lost in Hero, but it's fine. You'll be proud. You'll be proud of me though, Donde, because my Hero match was scheduled for 8:30, so I was gonna be playing it during HearthCenter like I typically do.
I don't want
But
to hear that.
I got it started a little bit early, so I got finished at like 8:45.
So that's why you're always angry when we're recording.
No, I mean I usually win when we're doing it during the stream, so maybe I should have let it go at 8:30.
Board member, by the way.
Did the Shaman get a win? The Shaman is currently 0-2 in Hero and 1-0 in Legacy. So it's fine. I talked to Brushy, because we played last week. If I would have gone with the correct deck text, I would have been 1-1 right now with the Shaman, but he kind of beat me on the prep there for the last week, so the Shaman ended up losing, but it's fine.
Lost the overall match though. I lost. Mako
yes,
won.
I won the overall, but I did lose that Shaman matchup. I don't give a shit. I tell you what. Undefeated in Legacy, 100%. Y'all are down on the Shaman. I don't give a fuck. My team gets mad at me when I bring it. I ignore him because he's fine. It's fine. Ask Brushy. Deck's
I need a mute
good.
button for you.
Why?
Deck's good. Deck's good.
That was the longest intro in history.
I don't care, man. I do not care. I could care less. Diamond, don't ask me the specifics of my shaman deck choices. How dare you?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna give that up.
Well, speaking of our
Ain't
third
gonna give
member
that up.
of the crew tonight, who you mentioned, that is BrushyTuna. Brushy, welcome back again, sir.
Hey, glad to be here. This time we got bathrobe tuna in the house.
Yeah, I requested that last week, and I was disappointed we didn't get it.
Yeah, you got to change it up sometimes, you know.
Well, I mean, it does have to be cleaned. Like that's, kind of important.
Oh yeah, I just have them come in and switch it out every time they clean my room.
Nice,
I
exactly.
get new ones.
And as you know, Lotus Knight usually joins us. He will be here. He says tonight. He's just gonna be a little bit late, so he doesn't run a cam anyway. So hopefully it doesn't jack everything up. But he will join us if he does make it in time. Other than that, we have a great show as always tonight. We're gonna be talking about the Week 1 meta. We're gonna talk about what happened in Week 1 and what we think will happen in Week 2. There's not a ton of different topics tonight, but we're gonna go in depth on each of them, and hopefully we all learn something. Have some fun along the way, right?
Nah.
Oh, well, as long as Mako learns that Shaman's trash, then that's all we can really hope for.
Let's say it would have crushed me if he didn't change up his deck list last second.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, Donde. What's the one class in Legacy right now that has 100% win rate?
I'm going to guess Shaman.
Okay, thank you. I don't need to hear anything more. I just wanted to ask that simple question.
A simple question indeed. Well, let me go ahead and pop up the Week 1 meta from from the website. You can see these stats right on our website, teamhearthlegends.com. If you go to the pro stats section, you can see pro lineup stats. So feel free to look along there, look along on stream. I kept last season's overall up so that we could compare. I know it's just Week 1, but I figured it would be nice to see kind of how the Week 1 meta shaped up and how it differed from where we ended up at the end of last season. So if you look here, just to start at the top, for those who have not seen this graphic before, these are the most frequently played lineups in Pro, the 4 classes that were played, not necessarily the archetypes. So at the top there we have 2 representatives with 7 instances and then a bunch of 3. So these are all of the lineups that had at least 3 plays. Some of them did pretty well. Right at the top, Druid, Priest, Rogue, Warrior, 85.7% win rate, but pretty even on the game win rate. So they were winning close matches, but they were winning the overall series. And then you had the Demon Hunter, Druid, Rogue, Warrior, and Demon Hunter, Druid, Hunter, Warrior, or Hunter, Rogue, rather, just taking L's left and right, 0-3 apiece, so they were not that good. And then if you look down the bottom left, what you'll see is the total game count of each class that was played, the wins and losses, which is, of course, their win rate next to them, and how many times they were banned. And then overall is, as I mentioned, everything from last season. So, looking at the chart here, this is normally Lotus Knight territory. We love to have him really dig deep into this, so I'll do my best to give you a Lotus impression. Just looking at the classes, like Demon Hunter, pretty much the same from where it was last season. Druid also not great, but not terrible. Like 47% is not ideal, but it's a small sample size. Hunter with a big bump up though. I found that to be interesting. Do you guys think Hunter's underplayed in this first week? I'll start with you, Matt.
I'm in the I have the firm standing that you can bring whatever you want right now as long as you know how to play the decks and you can win. So like, if people are that favorite a hunter and they're gonna bring it, then and they know what they're doing, they're gonna win with it. So like, I think this meta is so incredibly balanced. It's not even funny. Outside of maybe Warlock, like Warlock is the one spot that I keep seeing like struggle. Yeah, only Warlock, not Shaman, only Warlock.
I see.
Yeah, Shaman's 1-0 down there.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I see 2 like solid green classes, and one of them is a Shaman, and the other is a Paladin. So like, you do you, bud. I'm actually on our website right now looking for the person that brought Shaman in. Oh, there he is.
You gonna gift them a sub?
No, I was seeing what deck he brought. I'm not gonna say it. It was last champ. Yeah, he brought.
You can say it's public info. What deck?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot it was pro. Yeah, he brought Totem Shaman and won with it, evidently. So, but yeah, no, I think we're gonna see an uptick of Hunter going into the next week.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think the real uptick is going to be that next class on the list in Mage, to be honest with you. Look at that win rate jump up from 39.8 at the end of last season up to 56 in 1 week, and it's only been getting more and more, clout on Twitter and seeing it all over the place on ladder, especially that Cyclone small spell version of the Mage. I think that's probably the big player this week, if I had to guess. Brushy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's been picking up a lot of popularity, especially on ladder. And like the past 2 weeks, they kind of went with one list, and that one list has really been the thing for the past 2 weeks. But this week, there's been a lot of people already tinkering, and late last week tinkering with the list and really redefining that overall small spell mage list. So I could definitely see it picking up a lot of popularity here now that there's more eyes on it and more people trying to fine tune it to what the meta is and make it good, because mage does have all those tools that can beat a lot of decks. So once it gets that final tuning of what this is the list, this is the 30, I think it might be the most played class here shortly.
Well, yeah, there was a conversation going on between our very own Liquid Ox. I'm still claiming him as ours, even though he's, part of an actual esports organization now. Not that we're not an actual esports organization, just that we don't pay people or anything. I don't get paid for this, surely. But he was talking with Orange. Him and Orange were kind of sniping at each other about what the list was and everything. But it's cool that it is getting a lot of traction, and we are starting to see, like you said, we're starting to see it get fleshed out to see where the tech cards can come in, what's the core cards, and I think it's still a pretty modular list. There's a lot of slots that could be one of, so there's a lot of slots that you could just eliminate altogether. So interesting to see how Mage evolves. Paladin, that small sample size, very very good last week. It was an early ladder darling in the expansion, but it fell off pretty hard as people realized that it's a pretty linear class for the most part, but still can win, as you see. Priest, steady in the middle. Rogue.
It's only linear if you look at it as linear. Isn't that right, Brushy?
Yeah,
That's
that's
deep.
true.
That is deep.
It is deep, but it's not wrong.
But Rogue is the second pain point I wanted to talk about, because look at that win rate, or in this case loss rate, 40.9 in the win column. That's not good, especially for a class that got banned as heavily as it did. 17 bans in the first week. It got banned 10 total times last season in its entirety, and it looks like it probably, if nothing else, was a target, would be my guess. Wouldn't you agree with that, Mako?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how to word this all. What I'm about to kind of try and say, right? A week ago, I feel like the heavy rogue favor was the weapon rogue. Um, to just build these giant ass weapons and smack them in the face. And then I feel like as the week has progressed, these past week has progressed, it's started to go towards this miracle, um,
The
endless
secret
value
base
kind
list,
of
yeah.
rogue. Yeah, yeah. Um, so I don't know. I think that weapon rogue is a lot easier to tech against, um, especially in THL in general, and with the amount of classes that people are bringing that have weapons. I feel like we're in a weapon tech meta for us specifically. Um, so bringing these classes and these decks that are full of weapons almost feels like a mistake at this point, because it's so easy to just throw in 2 to 3 weapon removal cards and just completely shut off your opponent and every single deck that they bring, just because the sheer amount of weapons that are being brought. Um, so I think that if a lot of those decks were those weapon decks, and you're throwing in an ooze or two, and you're just you're just shutting down your opponent like that, then yeah, I could definitely see that win rate. Or you could go the miracle one and just make me go 1-3 in hero about 45 minutes ago and get a bunch of endless mage burn in your rogue deck. Either way, one wins, one doesn't. So I'm in the salty category at the moment because
Clearly.
I just
Yeah.
got burned by a rogue use it with the had mage cards.
Well,
So
yeah, Wand Thief will do that to you.
yeah, there were lots of them. But yeah, so I don't know. I think rogue has just been in the process of being refined, and I think that's why that win rate is what it is. But I think we're gonna see that win rate jump up here in the next week.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be a player as we progress throughout the season. The class is just too good right now to not be included in a lot of lineups. And if you look up at that, the top 7 lineups that we have listed at the top of the screen, Rogue appears in all but 2 of them. The 2 in the middle there, with DH Druid Priest Warrior and then Druid Mage Priest Warrior. So it's pretty prevalent, and I think it will continue to be. I think you're right about that. Shaman with its 1 win, maybe it'll pick up a little bit. I don't know. I don't think so, but good start, I guess. Perfect start.
It's fine. You know what? Y'all keep shitting on Shaman. I don't care. That's fine. You know what? Keep it down. So then when I keep bringing it and winning with it, I don't have to worry about the deck getting nerfed because people realize how powerful it is. So that's fine. It's fine.
Well, we'll talk about that next week on the next episode of HearthCenter. But for now, let's talk about Warlock. I would imagine most of the 10 games were that Zoo Masochist's Pain Warlock, however you want to call it,
probably
didn't look too promising there in the early going. Couple bans on it too, which I find kind of surprising. But hey, so there's a right band for every series, and apparently that was the right band for those players. But Warrior, steady again. It's going to be again a big part of this meta. Was the most banned class. It was the most banned class last season by a massive margin, and I think it'll probably continue to be like that. Brushy, do you agree that Warrior should be in your lineup pretty much all the time at this point?
No, not yet. Because like Mako said earlier, whatever deck you're comfortable on, you can bring. I also firmly believe there's like 8, 9, like solid or very good brings that you can bring every week. Some of those can crush Warrior, and some of those lose to Warrior. So, I still think there's like we're still like in that like we just have such a huge meta right now that you can still bring whatever you want right now and get these wins in pro. So you don't necessarily need Warrior. If you just want to overall like solid class to bring that's like going to do what you want to do, you can bring Warrior. But I do think there are lineups that you can go without Warrior and still do very fine in the meta right now.
Yeah, I think we're at the mentality still after coming out of a meta where if you weren't bringing Warrior, you were just kind of like, "Hey, bud, what you doing over here?"
So like last season, if you didn't have Warrior, it was like, get off my team. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. So I think we're coming out of that meta, and I think that a lot of people still have that mentality when they're thinking of their classes that they're gonna bring. Like their mind goes straight to Warrior after having it go straight to Warrior for 4 months. I know, like when I've been thinking about what I'm gonna bring for the past 2 weeks when I've been submitting decks, my mind has gone like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring Shaman and I'm gonna bring Warrior, and what else am I gonna bring? And I'm sitting there like, oh, I don't have to bring Warrior, but it always comes back around to Warrior, and it's not even like top tier in the meta. It's just like went 4 months with like instantly bringing Warrior. I mean, it got banned 400 times last season. So it's
insane.
I think mindset wise, the entire community has this mindset that it just has to bring Warrior because we brought Warrior for 4 months straight. So I think as time goes on, we're gonna see it brought less and less because there is just so many, like you can practically bring anything right now. So I don't know, unless Enraged picks up again. Like I know it's been picking up quite a bit. So if we get into that meta of like super fast meta, or people start bringing more Hunter, like I think we're going to see, and people start bringing more Rogue, like we're already seeing, then we might actually see more Enraged Warrior being picked up. So, are we doing Legacy predictions this week? No, this is a pro show. Legacy is on Thursday.
Yep, Legacy is tomorrow night with Tavern Talk.
Yeah, I can give you a prediction that Hearthstone Academy is going to win, but like that's all I got for you.
Well, that's a sneak preview of tomorrow's show. But speaking of that, we are going to slip on over to our next segment here. Now that we've talked about the meta, we're going to talk about what happened back in week 1. So we've looked at the classes, we've looked at the lineups. Let's look at what actually happened. And as you know, we are going to be keeping track of picks this season, so we can see who is the best. And Brushy believes it's him, and he has a reason to believe that. Here are the picks from the first week. You can see it just so happens left to right happens to work out worst to best. Myself and Lotus had 11 correct. This is out of 30 matches, of course. Mako a distant second with 12, and Brushy killed us all with 18 out of 30. So, congrats, Brushy, on week 1, being far and away the leader here in the. I wouldn't say at the turn because we're like through the first hole of the course at this point. So let's calm down, buddy. Get back in the golf cart. We're gonna tee off on the second hole and see how it goes.
Did you win last week in pro?
Me personally?
I did.
Yeah, Donde personally.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember or not. I didn't remember if that was the point that I have over you, because we practically had like the exact same picks. So I was trying to think about like where did the point come from that I got that you didn't, and I thought maybe it was you, but I didn't remember.
No, that was definitely a knock for you because I was correct and you were wrong. Which we'll go into that again a little bit more in depth, of course, when we talk about the matches themselves, which we're going to do here in a few seconds. But yeah, not a good start picks wise, because I mean 11 out of 30 is like just over a third, which is a really, really bad win rate. I mean, Brushy is the only one over 50%. So Brushy, what's the secret to your success after week 1, man?
I can't say. I plead the fifth. I'm going to keep those secrets myself because I want to win this. I want to have the highest pick rate at the end of the season.
Well,
so
fine. Keep your secrets.
I will.
All right, well, let's talk about match number 1 from last week. Coming up on the screen here, it's Aeon versus Bad to the Bone. And this was actually, I'm going to say, we could just say this for every match, so I'm going to just get it out of the way. Every match was close this week. There were no real blowouts in any of the series. I think every team scored at least double digits. So, you know, actually, I say I think, but you can see in the standings below, 10 points is the lowest, and 19 is the highest. So that's really not too bad as far as competition is concerned. So what we had here was an Avi win over Arhat, Manny Skull win as a sub over Markshire. Yours truly got a win over A2 Battleship. Lotus Knight can't gloat because he's not here, got a win over Risen, and Neji Boston won over Satiros. Funny enough, my win and Neji's win were the first 2 wins, and then Bad to the Bone just decided they were done losing. They were down, I believe, 8-3 at that point, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 8-3 at that point, and then they won the rest of the games 12-3 combined. So that's Aeon not closing right there, but still encouraging to start the season with at least 11 points against what is sure to be a title contender this season. I, as the homer that I am, picked across the board and Aeon wins. So I only got 2 picks right in this one. Lotus ended up with 2 picks as well. He picked himself and Avi correctly and was wrong the rest of the way. And then Mako, you were incorrect about A2. Suck it. And and Risen and Markshire and Arhat. So you only got 1 right in this way. And then Brushy got 4 out of the 5. And thanks for picking me, Brushy. Love you, bud.
Yeah, no problem, buds. I don't think I picked you this week, to be honest.
You did not pick me this week, and I actually picked you this week. So go figure.
Ooh, of course.
Because you complain every week that I never pick you, so that's.
I'm gonna complain even when you pick me.
I know.
All the while now, guys picked me this past Monday and I lost. So don't pick me.
Well, now I'm definitely picking you. But I mean, this is a good series here overall. I think the one aberration was really the Markshire sweep. I didn't expect him to get swept by Manny Skull. Not that Manny Skull is a bad player by any means, but yeah, that was a little bit of a shocker there. Anything stand out to you, Mako, in this matchup?
I mean, there's one standout, but I'm not going to say it.
I know what you mean.
Is it Donde beating A2?
Yeah. Really threw me for the loop.
That was a good way to start my season. I was pretty pleased with the performance there. All right, well, let's move on to match number 2. Mako, I'll let you take us through this one. Is Canadian Clown Fiesta versus Due Process.
Alrighty. Oops, sorry. I was looking at week 2 there.
Yeah, they don't play them week 2.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the sheet, but I had it on the wrong tab. So Canadian Clown Fiesta took that win, and it was a super, super, super close win. Almost all 3 2s across the board. So I mean, if you want to talk about like close wins, like this was one game away from being literally as close as it possibly could have been. Um, Almost all game fives, but yeah, this is Canadian Clown Fiesta took it out at the end there. Um, I don't remember how we all called it as a team
Oh, I
last
can
week.
tell you.
Do you have it as a team? I'm looking at it individually.
I mean, so if
I guess we just look at it individually, it's the same.
we
So
all had Canadian Clown Fiesta winning.
okay, yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
So yeah, really interesting match. I think we even called that it was going to be close during our show last week, if I remember correctly.
Yep, we all said
So
3-2,
this
and it
is
was in fact a 3-2.
yeah, almost 3-2 across the board. But
Actually, no, it
yeah,
was a
so
4-1. Sorry.
so funny enough, we actually all had the exact same picks for winners too, except for Lotus in one spot. So all four of us had picked Wingor to win, which we got correct. All four of us picked Dr. Bomb D to win, though, which we all four got wrong. And then all four of us picked Yoxter to win, which we all four got wrong. So you're seeing a pattern now. Um, we all picked Corridon to win, which we all got wrong. And then we all picked Marty B to win, except for Lotus, who picked Tweeg. So we all got that one wrong. So all of us, except for Lotus, called 4 of these 5 matches incorrectly. And Lotus picked Tweeg.
But funny enough, we were all
Interestingly
still
enough.
correct about Canadian Clown Fiesta winning the week, even though we
Exactly.
weren't correct
It's
about.
really interesting. It really is really interesting. Like we got all these wrong like matches except for one, but like we still got the actual team win right.
Well, shout out to
Yeah,
Lotus on that one for being the only person to get 2.
He had faith.
Don't worry, it's about to get real embarrassing for me coming up. So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna let Brushy take the next match here. But before we get to that, just I'm sorry, not F2L's the next match. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Canadian Clown Fiesta. Due Process is a team that came out of the gate last season real hot. First 2 weeks of the season they won, and then they did not win the rest of the season. So I think it's still encouraging to see them put up 13 points because that's a very good week in a loss. And Canadian Clown Fiesta is basically just about as strong as we thought they were from last season. It's not really much of a difference in team comp, and they came out and they're still a consistent team. And Due Process, I think, has the players to bounce back, but they really need to. I think they just need to get a win for the confidence here. Which I mean, if they play Aeon, they beat us last season, so that's probably what they need at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thanks, Brushy. All right, so Brushy, you may take over for this next match, which I thought was one of the better matches of the week before it even got played. F2L versus Hype Horizon.
Well, you mean overhyped Horizon?
Oh boy, I knew the joke was coming.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Of course.
So F2L takes it 16-14 this week. We had Berserk taking down Liquid Ox. Mind you, all these were 3-2s. So how we were talking earlier about Canadian Clown Fiesta being as close as possible, this one is literally as close as possible.
Yeah.
So Berserk, you want me to go through the picks too? So Berserk taking down the 1. Only Lotus and I got that one. With Rescue Wabbit winning the 2. Once again, only Lotus and I got that one. Itachi taking down D Money. I think I was the only one that picked Itachi.
You were indeed.
So shout out to Itachi for keeping that up. And then the next 2 we all got wrong. We all picked Jammies and Glee to beat Cool Kid 2001 and McBanterface. So Cool Kid and McBanterface picked up those wins. It really didn't help any of the casters, but we shouldn't have maybe shouldn't have picked against McBanterface. I still know nothing about Cool Kid.
I don't know who they are, so I don't know if I should be
Yeah, that's
picking
fair.
for them or not.
I was actually in McBanterface's Twitch last night, and that man was struggling on ladder a little bit last night, so I'm still questioning on who I should pick. But he's normally like a top 30 legend player on average.
So for those scoring at home, that means that Mako and I literally got this entire series incorrect. We didn't get a single game right.
Oof.
And I mean, I guess
F's in the chat.
F's in the chat for that for sure. But I mean, we knew this was going to be a close series. 3-2 is
Yep.
exactly what what most of us called here. But Brushy, you were on the sweep train for F2L, and now Hype Horizon, as you mentioned, was one of the more hype teams coming in the season. What made you think that
Yeah.
this was going to be such a decisive win for F2L?
The only one that I really struggled with picking was Liquidox's match, but the rest of them, I didn't know if they played in any like kind of tournament settings before. So jumping into a tournament setting is for your first time might be challenging for some people. So that's why I lean towards more of the players I know have played in these settings before. So they have the experience rather than just, playing on ladder. So that's why I chose F2L. I still think Hype Horizon's a very good team, but I picked the sweep for week one for Hype Horizon kind of get their legs underneath them to be like, oh, so this is what it's going to be like. And then, going forward, they'll probably do extremely well in the rest of the season.
Yeah, I have no doubt that they're going to be a competitive team this whole way through in a week one loss. As we saw last season with WashU, does not mean really much of anything at all if you're a good enough team. So speaking of WashU, aka Mash N, the Weishas are up next, and this was again a week one loss for them. This time at the hands of For the Boys. And if you look here, we've got
At these matches, they're all so close.
all so close. 14.
You love to see this.
Oh, I do. I want to see a competitive series or a competitive season across the board. Every team in it throughout the entire season. And this was Heat Shock over Dabs in the 1, and Buck Nasty over Valdis in the 2, Fasho over Roadrunner in the 3, German Shep over Ufric in the 4, and then Dr. Pyro over Mata in the 5. Now, I did say that I thought For the Boys was going to get the upset win here. I, however, still only got one of the 5 matches correct. I did predict the Fasho win, and then got nothing else right. Lotus did the exact same thing. And then, Mako, you also picked the top 3 correct, so you had the For the Boys win, and you were right about that, but you were not right about which, all 5 of them. And then, Brushy, you were the only one who was on the Mashin train, and that derailed a bit off the tracks here. But as we were saying, I don't think we should be too worried about them as a team. We know how good they are. They are 4/5 of the same team, with the exception of Dr. Pyro, and I think, and of course they had a sub this week. But I think that this is going to be, not indicative of the typical week for the Weishas.
Yeah, I agree. I will say this bottom half of our schedule, I really came out swinging here looking at this bottom half. If I just would have not copied you, I guess, in the top half, I would have probably kicked Brushy to the curb here. But yeah, it's very interesting looking at this, especially because WashU last season just absolutely decimated the regular season. And then didn't they start 0-1 last season though too?
They did.
They did.
They lost to Serenity in week 1.
So prepare.
Shout out to Serenity.
Jesus Christ. So prepare whoever plays WashU next, because yeah, if like that tells us anything, it's that WashU's about to come out the gate swinging after their week 1 loss, and For the Boys is gonna finish in last place.
Oh, dang! All right.
I mean, that's what happened last season, right?
I mean, it's exactly what happened last season. So yeah, we're just calling it like it is, right? That we're just
Diamond takes umbrage
going
with your call.
That's what happens, Diamond. You know what? You got the random week 1 against WashU. You're now in last place.
No, Diamond. He's not saying you finished last season. He's saying that the team that beat WashU in week 1 finished last season. So
whoever beats WashU week 1 is the only team to beat WashU, and they will finish last place.
They were
prophecy has been told.
WashU lost towards the end of the regular season last season.
They did. They lost the last season, or like the last game of the season, and then they walked into to Aeon, and then they walked into the playoffs and lost the unknown in the first round.
WashU has school now.
They do have school now. Yes,
that's a good point.
That is actually a very good point.
That's a good point.
They're probably going to be a little bit more distracted than they were over the summer.
That kind of happened to them in playoffs, though, right? Like that's why they struggled a bit. They talked about how they were kind of burnt out because they had to. So that's a very good point.
All right, well, let's move on to our 5th match from last week. We have the defending champs, Tap Last, versus the Beard Boys, Mako. Take us through it.
Would you like me to talk about how I got 4 out of these 5 matches correct?
Only
I
if
got
you
all
also
5
mention
correct.
that I got 4 out of 5.
I got all 5, by the way.
No, you didn't.
I did. Donde just
did.
didn't highlight correctly.
I
You didn't highlight it?
Make the
Oh
sheet.
my
I didn't make the
God.
sheet. Hat made the sheet. Hat made the sheet. I noticed that it wasn't highlighting correctly, but I didn't want to screw with stuff.
I was so like,
I'm just
Oh, yeah.
manually highlighting the
Yeah.
mistakes.
I was like,
I got
oh
all
man.
5.
I was like, man, I got 4 out of these 5 right. Suck it, Brushy. And then your other got all of them right. Yeah, so this one was a little less close than the last few, but it was still close. 4 points is that's not a lot of points, especially looking at our overall standings. Um, so Heat Shock. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. C-Mac took it over Booze. I was looking one up. So C-Mac took it over Booze, which we all predicted. Then Always Just in Time took the win over Your Mum Ken, which we all predicted as well.
Somewhat all of us predicted that.
2 of us predicted it before the match happened.
I see
The other
4
2
out of
predicted
4.
it after the match happened, but we'll let them have the points.
I see
We'll
4
let 'em
out
have
of
the
4,
points.
so I don't know what you're talking about. Zabe got the sweep over Lawful. Now, me and Donde did say that Lawful was gonna take that win, so that one kind of bit us in the butt a little bit there. But that it honestly did surprise me a little bit. I thought they would. I didn't think it was gonna be a sweep, like even if it was a loss. So that one took me by surprise a little bit. Myanodon took the win over Last Champ. And Lotus was the only one to pick Champ there, and then Typhoon took that final win over Enzy. So we had to rep our former Aeon gang and pick Typhoon, which Lotus also picked Enzy there as well. So Lotus got those last 2 ones right. Yeah, 5 out of 5, whatever. I think he had insider info or something.
They're the team that beat me in the championship. So of course I didn't want to pick against or pick for most of them. So I went the other way.
Hard to pick
Yeah.
against the defending champs in the regular or the first week of the next regular season, obviously. But
Well,
Yeah. It really.
I mean, it's
like
also
that
known that
whole
Tap
matchup
Last
kinda
loses
took
week
me
1.
for a surprise.
yeah, Tap Last was another
I
team that
really
lost
thought
week 1.
Tap Last was gonna win that.
Yeah. You can
Yeah, I
ask
think-
C-Mac. It's a Tap Last thing to lose week 1.
And again, I'm sure they would be glad to lose week 1 if it meant, the rest of the season they didn't have the same problems there. Also, I realize I have the wrong logos up on screen, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that real quick. My bad, but misclick. There's the correct logos in all their glory. Tap Last and the Beard Boys. Beard Boys, one of those teams that somewhat of an enigma. They had that really hot start 2 seasons ago, and then they fell off towards the end of the season, missed the playoffs. Last season, they struggled pretty much throughout the entirety of the season, but came up with a few big wins near the end of it, not quite enough to make the playoffs. So the Beard Boys, are they going to finally get over the hump this season and really be the team that we know they can be, minus Boozosaurus at the top there, who is a scrub?
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I love Booze. He knows I love Booze. But
I mean, each one of the players on Beard Boys, like every season, is always super solid players. So, they just gotta keep doing it. Like they can't slack off any week. So they do have the caliber to do it. They do have the caliber, but we'll see.
maybe shedding some of the beards is what they needed, because I know Inzi was saying he doesn't have a beard.
Well, Boo says he doesn't have a beard either.
What? Boo
And
shaved a
look-
beard?
And look
So
who
wait-
has the 2 losses.
It's true.
So what you're saying, Donde, is that in order to win, they need to shave.
No. They need to have a beard. The
Oh, they
3
need to
people
have
with
the-
Yeah, the
beards
people who have the
are
beards
3-0.
are winning.
Okay.
That's
the
I
key.
backwards.
Unreal.
Same.
How can you name your team that if you don't have beards?
I mean, maybe they're growing them back, so they're like, you're honorary Beard Boys.
Does the season end before No Shave November?
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't
Wait.
do the exact math, but I think
Yes.
it's probably like
I think the playoffs are in October.
I think the regular season ends, because I think the way it's timed out is that the whole thing, all of THL ends before Thanksgiving. U.S. holiday, by the way. Sorry for.
We better hope so, because if not, we're screwed. It hits November, beer boys are taking off.
Yeah. Just 3-0s every week in November.
Yeah, we have that nice little lull in November through up to Christmas. So, provided the world hasn't ended by then, we'll be looking forward to the next expansion around then. We'll see. So last but not least, we have one final match, and that was the Unknown versus Windkeepers. And Brushy, you have a little bit of a stake in this one, so I'll let you explain yourself.
Just a little bit. So Ron sucks, like I say every week. I don't know why I picked him in my picks. I should just always pick against Ron. Skittles and Solo Jazz, I watched the replays. They kind of got like the top deck BS out of a couple of their games, so not much you could do here. I beat G-Kick with a bunch of decks that I didn't want to play. And then Isocles took a very close one against Free Hong Kong. It was a rough week. We were down. Skittles and Solo Jazz lost to begin the week. I won my match. Isocles won his match, and then of course, Ron lost his match in that order. So thanks, Ron.
So not Clutch Mexico, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Late game deficient Ron Mexico.
Late week deficient Ron Mexico.
Yeah, late week deficient.
Time to be scheduling those matches on Thursday, buddy.
Yeah. But for the picks, we all picked Ron for some reason. So we all got that one wrong. We all picked Skittles. We all got that one wrong. Donde and Mako are the only ones to pick Easy Bake. Then in the 4, I think you guys picked Donde or Dusharmo originally, and then it got replaced to me, obviously. But only Lotus picked.
Which I was
G-Kick.
sweating, by the way. I was like the guy with the button. When it was like Dusharmo, BrushyTuna, and I'm just like sweating. Like, who do I pick?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. You got to go back. You got to pick a G-Kick, obviously. And then we all picked Isocles to beat Free Hong Kong. So rough week for the Unknown.
Yeah, impressive week for the Windkeepers, though.
Absolutely,
a team that I think, not only us, had them ranked kind of low power rankings wise. I think a lot of people were kind of low on them just because of how quickly the team came together. Weren't sure if they, kind of similar to the last minute hero team that got put together too. It's like you don't know exactly how a team's going to perform, if they have time to gel, if the personalities are all going to mix well. How's that prep process? And apparently it worked week 1 because they got a W week 1. We hope for their sake that they don't have a Serenity or due process type situation. Because they both teams started out very, very good last season, and then the wheels fell off a little bit. So I would love to see the Windkeepers continue to do very well, and they have the talent. They have the talent to do it, and they beat a team in the Unknown that is a consistent pro playoff team. So this is not like a minor victory in any way. This is a big, big win for them.
True.
So, Brushy, I expect more out of you next week. More wins.
I won!
Well, win twice.
I did. I went 2-1 this past season. I only lost to Mako in week 1.
And how are you going to do that, man? How are you going to do that?
I don't know. My rogue draws might be the most horrendous rogue draws I've ever saw, and Mako just punched me in the face.
Play.
No, I would have taken some witchy lackeys. I'll tell you what.
Well,
I think I killed you like turn 5 or something, and
yeah,
it was a Demon Hunter, right? Yeah, no, yeah. I had like I played pure like Demon Hunter, Soul Demon Hunter Curvestone there. Like it was just like straight to the face like every single
perfectly
turn.
on curve. And I was just like, and my hand was like 2 Great Sages and just like
that was like a 2-minute game. It was so quick.
It was. I was sitting there crying on my keyboard, like, where are these draws?
It was game 5 too.
Yeah. Not even competitive game 5. It was just a stomp.
Well, I appreciate you guys reminiscing about the past, so we're going to look ahead to the future here, which is
no problem.
Yeah, no problem. Week 2.
Hey, Donde, you know what I see in the future?
What do you see in the future, Mako?
I'm going to use my shaman skills to look into the future and see someone subbing to the Team Hearth Legends Twitch account. Because Lotus isn't here, someone has to do the transition. I'll let you do the spiel now because I don't have it pulled up.
Have it pulled up?
Yeah.
You think I write this thing down, man? No. It's off the top of the
Yeah,
dome
there's
piece.
literally something for you. It is, I guess. Sorry.
All I know is hit the follow button, subscribe. The money helps out with tournaments and keeping the great content like
All right,
this going.
let me show you how this is done, Ron Mexico style.
Everyone,
No,
no,
Ron reads it off of
hold on.
paper.
Ron does
Don't
read
let
it on
Ron
paper.
fool you.
I want
Yes, he
Donde
does.
to cover his eyes, close his eyes, and read and say this without reading anything.
Yeah.
No, don't read anything.
He's flexing like
Well,
he has this thing
Then
memorized.
cover your eyes. Prove it to us.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're on camera.
Prove
Cover
it.
your eyes.
Prove it.
All right, here we go. See, eyes covered, eyes covered. All right. So, just want to give a reminder to everybody out there that you can subscribe for free to the channel, and it helps us tremendously. Helps us put on tournaments with better prize pools, contribute to better content, and you can do it for free if you've got Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime. You just have to hit that button, subscribe, make sure you turn on notifications, and of course, if you have a chance to, feel free to gift sub to somebody in need because it makes you feel oh so good. Thanks to everybody who keeps us going out there, and as always, please make sure to tune in every night because there's something on every night on our channel at this point, whether it's matches, talk shows, there's something for everybody 100% of the time. Thanks for being here. You excited? Is that good? Was that good?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Good.
And just to show the camera, there's nothing written on the inside of my hand either. You know,
Just had that whole spiel just in like size 4 font that you just like.
This
shoved
is
in.
all gonna
Like-
happen.
it was like the graphing calculator notes in school. You know,
Yeah.
like you just like type in as much as you can in a notepad file on your graphing calculator. TI-83 for life.
You just write it on the inside of your mask now.
Oh man, that's a world that we don't have to live in. Well, I don't have to live in anyway.
I mean, you still live in that world, bud.
Well, sure. But I don't go to the schools.
There you go.
If I start going to the schools, then it's gonna probably set off some red alarm, red alert at like the police station if I'm snooping around a school somewhere.
Yeah, I would think so.
Anyway, so let's talk about what's happening week 2. We're starting off right at the top of the standings with Canadian Clown Fiesta, and they're playing against Aeon this week. Aeon looking to bounce back, of course. Canadian Clown Fiesta looking to build upon their initial week 1 success. So, Wengor versus yours truly, Phoenix versus Neji Boston, Tweak versus Arhat, Yoxter versus Markshire, Corridon versus Risen. I will start. I'll make it easy. As I'm going to just pretty much do all season, I'm picking Aeon in a 5-0 win, 5-0 sweep. I see.
No.
Apparently, we've got results on things already coming to the sheet here, but for now.
Yeah, I just added those too.
Thank you. Appreciate the help. Why did you put them under that column? I don't understand. Anyway, so I'm picking Aeon to win across the board.
Winner?
I'm confident we will bounce back, and I think we beat the previously named Stay the Blazes home last season. Where's the biggest laugh mode? Phoenix. You know I'm not doing this to be a downer to you guys. I just believe in my team. Lotus believes in us as well, not to the level that I do. He has me winning Neji Boston and Risen winning 3-2 for Aeon, with Tweak and Yoxter getting W's for Canadian Clown Fiesta. Mako, what did you think is going to happen here?
Okay, so I have, and I quote, I have Wengor taking the 1 seed matchup, and then I have Neji, Arhat, and Markshire winning the 2-3, and then Corridon winning in the 5. So I have us winning, overall. Surprise, right? I'm picking for my team. We have a very Aeon heavy stream, so it's like, you're not gonna see any Aeon pick to lose overall in these streams. So, but I do think it'll be close though. I do have it as a 3-2, so I don't have it as a full sweep like someone does over here.
I mean, I think you could go much worse this season than picking a lot of 3-2s. It just doesn't necessarily mean you're going to pick the correct 3-2, but I think there's going to be a lot of 3-2s this season.
I mean, 3-2 seems to be the popular hip thing nowadays in THL. So I need to change all of my match predictions here to 3-2s.
Just 3-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brushy, what do you think?
I actually had the same as Mako. I have Wangor in the 1, Neji, Ridiculous Hat, and Markshire winning, and then Corden in the 5. So
All right, that's easy enough. And before we switch over to the next match, I am going to show you that I fixed the graphics. This is what I get for trying to do the graphics while also working. Don't tell my boss.
Hall of Famer, by the way.
Hall of Famer, by the way. I flopped him while I was setting up OBS. I mean, this is the only way I get paid for THL stuff is to do it on the clock. So
That's fair. See,
you know. So graphics are fixed. The graphics are correct. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, second match of the week is going to be F2L versus the Mash and Weishas. These graphics are correct, by the way. So this one is a matchup of our two most recent, well, not our most recent winners, but our most recent regular season winners, because F2L is dominant 2 and 3 seasons ago, and Mash and Weishas were the winner from the regular season last season. So another very high-powered matchup. We've got Berserk versus Heat Shock in the 1, which is just an insane match. Rescue Wabbit versus Dr. Pyro at the 2. Itachi versus Valdis in 3. Jammies and Roadrunner in the 4. And Glee versus Ufric in the 5. A lot of matches I can see going either way here. I am sticking with Berserk in the 1, which means for whatever reason I've picked against Heat Shock now 2 weeks in a row, which is just probably dumb. But I'm also picking Rescue Wabbit in the 2, and I'm sticking with my boy Jammies in the 4 for a 3-2 F2LW, with Valdis and Ufric getting wins for Mash and Weisha. So I'm actually predicting Mashin to go 0-2 to start the season. Lotus agrees with that. Almost exactly, he had Roadrunner winning instead of Jammies, and Glee winning instead of Ufric. So he is also on the F2L train. Mako, what train you riding this week?
I am riding the. So I like whenever we do these picks. Unless it's us now, like I always forget what team that I'm picking for, and like what their like their actual matches. So I don't even know like. So I picked. I have Agent PWE winning in the 1. No,
No,
I'm
you
looking at the
don't.
wrong
That's
one.
a different game.
That's a different game.
Dude, okay.
Do you have the sheet open?
No, I'm looking at it.
One above,
I'm looking
one
at it.
above,
I
go
just
one
looked at.
above
I
there.
looked one down because I'm not watching. I'm not watching stream. I'm like just looking at our charts. So I just skipped one on accident. So I have Heat Shock winning in the 1 seed, and then I have over Berserk. And then I have Rescue Wabbits winning in the 2, over Dr. Pyro. Itachi winning in the 3, and then Jammies and Glee winning in the 4 and the 5. So I have a 4-1 over here for F2L.
All right, Brushy, what do you think?
Heat Shock in the 1. Hard to go against Heat Shock, but it's also hard to go against Berserk. But I believe in Heat Shock. Rescue Wabbit in the 2, Itachi in the 3, Jammies in the 4, and I got Ufric in the 5. So I have 3-2 F2L.
So I'm kind of surprised that all of us are backing F2L this week. It feels like, is this disrespect to the Weishas? Or, perhaps as Diamond pointed out, are we correctly playing the angle here that they're going to be a little bit more distracted this season? I mean, I certainly didn't take it into account when I was taking my picks this week, but I think it's probably a pretty reasonable take.
Yeah, I think that I think pointing that out actually will come into account like the following weeks when we are picking, depending on how they do this week.
Of course.
That is, because they could just really, kill it this week, and we were just completely wrong. But I don't know. I think we need another week or 2 under our belts to really like start actually looking at how teams are performing instead of like individual players. Because this week 1 was just so close across the board. Like you can't we're not at that point where we can like look at a team's overall score and then have that go into account for when we're picking our individual matchups.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think like individual 1v1 kind of matchups here. To me it's a 4-1 for F2L, but again, when it comes to team prep wise and all that kind of stuff, who knows?
I think, and I'm also about to give all 3 of us, well, 4 of us, including Lotus, of course, a bit of an out here. If you look at when you're doing picks for like Legacy and Hero, those rosters don't reshuffle, at least not nearly at the pace that the rosters in Pro do, or Wild for that matter, because of the reseeding. So a lot of the time, you'll have some of those later season matchups where a player is like 7-2 playing against somebody who's 2-7, or something similar. With the reshuffling, you always get fairly even matchups. So if somebody on a team is struggling in the meta and they're like a 3-win player, they're going to play another player that's roughly at the same caliber. So you don't get a lot of lopsided matchups, which means that our picks are going to be a lot of close picks most week. We're like the 1 seeds are
Yeah.
going to be the best players on their respective teams record-wise that season, followed by the 2, etc., as you get on the list. So I'm just saying it makes our job a lot tougher when we're making picks here, which would explain our lower pick rate. At least that's what I'm going with.
Except for me. So
Yeah, well, the flukes happen.
Sure.
Whatever.
I'm
On
already
to
100% on this week. So.
Okay. On to match number 3, we're going to be talking about the upset team of the week, Windkeepers versus Hype Horizon. Can they keep it going, or will Hype Horizon bounce back and be the team that we know they can be? So I will, I guess, make this one easy. This is my second sweep of the week. I actually have a Hype Horizon sweep here. I believe that they are much better than they ended up displaying. I see a change in picks right there, by the way, buddy. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw. I took knowledge of what Diamond told me earlier.
Okay.
Change up one of my picks.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, as long as it's not announced yet, it's still legal, I guess.
Oh, let me double check.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Well,
change it back if it's already
I
announced.
have the Hype Horizon
not.
sweep here with Cool Kid over Agent PW, McBanterface over Clone, Liquid Ox over EZ Bake, Gamer RVG over G-Kick, and D Money over Free Hong Kong. And Lotus apparently felt the need to copy me, so he picked a sweep as well. Mako, you did not pick a sweep. What
I
do you
did
think
not. I had Agent PWE and Free Hong Kong taking respective wins themselves in the 1 and the 5 matchups. So I did have the
Alright.
2 through the 2 through 4 the same as you guys, but I did have a difference in the 1 and 5.
So you still have a Hype Horizon win going
Correct.
into week 2 here, getting on the
Correct.
board at 1-1. And Brushy, are you done altering your picks here?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think's gonna happen?
I got Agent PWE being the only one to take it for his team, and then the rest are going the way of Hype Horizon and the 2 through 5 with McBanterface, Liquid Ox, Gamer, and D Money.
All right. So this could be the caster curse of the week. I don't know. We're all on the Hype Horizon train, and most of us are in pretty lopsided fashion. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, based on what we know about Hype Horizon as a team, individual players are all very well ranked on ladder every month, and players like Liquid Ox, we know Gamer RVG has participated in Masters tours. Like, these are competitive players who have a pedigree of winning. So it's really hard to pick against them, especially after not winning in week 1. I think that they'll bounce back here, but that would be a pretty interesting story if the Windkeepers can get off to a fiery 2-0 start against 2 fantastic teams. So we'll have to see next week if all of us are eating crow and the Windkeepers are sitting near the top of the standings. So moving on.
I hope so.
I mean, for the storyline, I absolutely hope so.
Yeah.
It's not in any way that I do not like the people of Hype Horizon or any team for that matter. I want to see awesome storylines, and I think that would be a fantastic story. Match numero cuatro is Bad to the Bone versus Due Process. Bad to the Bone 1-0 to start with. Due Process fell in week 1. Have not won since week 2 of last season. Are they going to win week 2 of this season? My call is unfortunately no. I'm going to say Bad to the Bone wins this one 4-1. I've got everybody on Bad to the Bone winning except for Boolean beating A2 in the 4 seed. So Avi, Atomos, Lotus Knight, and Satiros. I just like Atomos and Satiros as a rhyme duo on this team. So I know Atomos is a sub, but that's my pick. And Lotus felt like a lot of sweeps this week. He picked his own team, of course.
Obviously.
Of course, to win in a sweep. So not surprising there. Mako, you did not pick the same as me, but it was pretty close.
Yeah. So we almost had the same thing. We just had our 4 and 5 seed switch. So I picked A2 to win in the 4 seed, and picked Dr. Bomb D to win in the 5 seed, whereas you had the opposite. So that was the only difference there. But we still ultimately had the same outcome, being Bad to the Bone taking the week 4-1. And Lotus had the sweep.
Yeah, that's sweep.
That's-
Lotus is playing against is it the Regster or the Register? Like Reggie. He's like his name's Reginald. He's the Register.
It's probably the Regster.
I don't know. I don't know how it goes, but he's a sub this week, and we had Lotus across the board there, and he's not even here to gloat about it. So rip Lotus Knight. Brushy, sorry to
He
give
picked
away
his
one of your
team to
picks.
He picked his team to
That's fine.
sweep and then dipped.
Yeah.
Yep, he's just like,
He's
I'm
like,
not
I'm
facing
gonna
any
pick-
consequences.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick all sweeps throughout the week and not show up to the show.
He'll have to answer for it next week, because this is the downside of us tracking these now, is because if you can't get away from it, you have to miss multiple weeks in a row to get away from your bad picks. So, what do you think's
We'll
gonna
see
happen
next.
here?
We'll see next
Tuna?
week.
Oh yeah, we will.
So I got 3-2 for Bad to the Bone. I got obviously Atomos and Lotus Knight taking it, but I have Bullion and Dr. Bondi taking the 4 and the 5.
So interestingly, we all had the 1 through 3 the same, and then we had a 50-50 split on the final 2 matches. But yeah, this is a tough draw for Due Process. Early in the season, Bad to the Bone looks great. It's going to be tough for them to get the win. But again, much like our last matchup there, this would be a great story just alongside the Windkeepers, whether or not they can get off to a good start here in the first 2 weeks of the season. Though Due Process, like we mentioned, did lose week 1, so they're just looking for any W at this point, just to try and get the momentum going.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's this week, unfortunately, for them. All right. Match number 5 is For the Boys versus Tap Last. So for the boys, there is actually a result in this one. We will inform you of the result once we read our picks, of course. So this one is, I think, going to be again a close match, because For the Boys is a much better team than I think people were giving credit for them in the preseason. But it's still going to be, the top 2 is still going to Tap Last, C-Mac and Typhoon with the wins. But then I've got the next 3 all going to For the Boys. German Shep over your Mumked, Dabs over Lawful Dog, and Mata over the Last Champ. I believed in Mata last week. He did not get the win. I think he's going to bounce back this week. I'm partially wrong. That's okay. Mako, what do you think's happening? Actually, before we do that, because yours is a quick, easy one. Lotus Knight picked Faux Show, German Shep, and Dabs for a 3-2 For the Boys win, with C-Mac and the Last Champ being the lone winners for Tap Last. So, Mako, what'd you say?
So I went with that Tap Last sweep.
And you're a lot closer than I am right now, but that's okay. Brushy, how about you?
So I have Tap Last winning 4 out of 5 games, with Fasho being the only one to win it for his team for the boys.
So he wins it for the boys, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, with C-Mac, your mom, Lawful Dog, and Last Champ all taking their matches.
Yeah, you gotta remember though, For the Boys beat Washu week 1.
That's what I'm saying.
So they're gonna end up in last place at the end of the season now.
Well, yeah, but
We're
So
already on that trend because
calling that Tap Last sweep right now is much more understandable than calling a Bad to the Bone sweep or an Aeon sweep at this point, right?
I mean, we already have a result in, so the sweep
Hit us with the
going towards
result,
Tap
Brushy.
Last is. The result is Lawful Dog beat Dabs already, and the score for that one is 3-2 Lawful.
Yeah,
which only 2 of us got.
Yeah, 2 of us. And you know what else? Both of us definitely put that in before looking at results on the website.
I definitely put mine in.
Yeah, me too. I definitely didn't check the website before I did my pick.
Is brought into question.
Hey, we said last week I'll say this. I'll change that. I said last week picks aren't locked until they're announced on stream. So, stream hadn't started. I was making my picks, and I didn't make the mistake of not looking this week. So I went over there and I checked, and we had a couple results. So I used those to my advantage.
Unreal.
Oh man.
Well, a good start nonetheless for Tap Last this week, and Dabs, rough start to the season, 0-2. Definitely would expect him to not be hanging out down there, as the season progresses. But 0-2, not where he'd like to be.
No. But maybe this meta just doesn't agree with him, or he's still trying to figure out where he sits within this meta. So
he might be spending too much time on his alts. Is really what it's all about.
it's true. His alts are doing pretty good in the other series.
Exactly.
Or the boys about to sub in Debs.
Yeah.
Dabs
the following
out, Debs
Dibs.
in.
And then
Debs
Dibs
start
after
losing
that.
and bring in Dubs and Dibs.
All right, our final match of the week. Another match that has a result in that we will get to is the Beard Boys versus the Unknown. So this one is always just in time versus Brushy in the 1. Brushy in the 1? Me and you in the 1, buddy? Craziness.
Hey, remember last time I was in the 1?
Were you an
I went
MVP?
for MVP.
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
won MVP.
Forgot about that. Honest Abe versus Isocles in the 2. Myandon versus Ron Mexico in the 3. Boozosaurus versus Skittles in the 4. Inzi versus Solo Yaz in the 5. So I went with
Solo Yaz.
Solo Yaz. Yes, it's a soft J. I went with a 4-1 win for the Unknown, with Myandon getting the W for the Beard Boys, because Ron Mexico is streaming at the same time as HearthCenter, and you don't get picked if you try to compete with us. You jerk. So
That's fair.
I
picked against Ron for other
justification.
reasons, but
Well,
your
yeah.
justification's pretty good.
I thought so. So I got a 4-1 win for the Unknown, and Lotus does not agree. He has a 3-2 win for the Beard Boys, with Always Just in Time, Honest Abe, and Inzi getting wins.
Believing in that Inzi train.
Believing in the Inzi.
Sadly, that did not work out.
That train
again.
is not pulling into the station anytime soon this week.
Nope.
That's our match. Solo Jazz did win, and I want to know, Mako, when you made your picks, did you know about that?
No comment. So I had Just in Time winning in the 1, then Isocles and Ron winning in the 2 and the 3, and I was the only one to pick Booze over Skittles in the 4, which I thought was a little interesting. And then I picked I picked Solo Jazz to win in the 5.
See, my problem is I think Booze just has too many capital letters in his name. Skittles has the right amount of capital letters.
An even
6?
number,
which
even
is not all
distribution.
of them. Which is not all of the capital letters.
The right amount is all of them but 2.
Yeah.
Fewer than 100% of your letters need to be capital.
It could be all but 1, and Donde would be okay with it.
No pattern. There's no pattern to these capital letters.
There is a pattern. It spells skills.
Oh, it does. I didn't know that. I never noticed that.
Just peeling the veil back here live.
I never noticed that. I 100% never noticed that. I always thought it was really weird how he spelled his name, and it made it a pain in the ass to input on any documents.
It
and like
absolutely makes
stuff.
it a pain in the ass. I'm looking right at the camera because I'm looking right into your soul skills. It is a pain in the ass to put your name into things in our forms.
Well, that's the thing
Skittles.
now. I don't think it's as much of a pain anymore now that I know the ones that are capitalized are the ones that spelled skills. Before I had to go and look at which ones weren't capitalized. But now knowing this information, it's still a pain in the ass. Just like all capital Boozosaurus is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't hit caps lock. I hold shift the whole way through it, and I'm angry.
But just hit caps lock.
No, man.
It's one button.
That button is there solely to be hit accidentally.
That button is there for passive-aggressive anger and accidental clicks.
Accidental clicks.
Accidental clicks. That button is there to let you know that you are not putting your password in correctly in whatever you're trying to log into in that moment.
You have caps lock on. You can't
this
log
button
in.
is on, unless you're my dad, in which case that's exactly the intent. Everything's in caps all the time.
I'm one step closer to stealing his password. Thanks, Donde.
No problem. Well, why don't you steal a couple wins here this week by already having 2 wins correct that you actually picked prior to the show. Why don't you give us your picks for this final match here?
So I'm changing up my strategy for the Unknown. I was going to go 5-0 the whole season, but, Ruckfon Mexico. So I'm going to go 4-1 from now on for the Unknown every week with everyone winning but Ron.
A reasonable
So my
pick
Donde
from a
is
reasonable man.
You're only saying that because you also had the same results.
Absolutely, 100%.
Uh,
You see right through me. That's okay.
We're gonna get to the point where I'm gonna have such a huge lead on everyone in these picks that you're all gonna wait until I put my picks in, and then you're just gonna start copying them.
Or we'll have to start picking against you to kind of catch up.
Yeah, which would just grow my lead even bigger.
Oh man. Well, that's all the picks for this week. That's all the matches for this week too. I think it's going to be another fun week, but this one has the feeling of, to me, as the picks indicate here, a few more lopsided matches. I think we're going to start to see who the really elite teams are in Pro this week, and what teams might be, hanging around, competing, but might not necessarily be one of the playoff teams come November. Should be interesting. Should be fun.
I actually think by week 4 we'll know where everyone sits within Pro.
Well, we will because there's a standings page.
Well, I'm saying like of those who can actually compete
jeez.
and those who we thought were gonna be like good, but like are just gonna like turn out to be like bottom half of the standings for the rest of the season.
Well, hopefully Aeon's not down there. We need
I hope
the
they
W
are.
this week. If we are, I hope you are too.
You'll probably. We got Ron on the team. I don't know what we're doing.
Man, I hope for his sake he's already legend over there because I'm about to bomb his stream after
He's not.
this. Jerk.
He's not. He's like in platinum.
Not even streaming legend. What a scrub.
Yeah.
Love Ron. Well, that's everything that we had for the week here. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Mako, thank you for being here as always. Brushy, thank you for coming back again. Lotus, sorry we couldn't stall long enough for you to get here, I guess. I don't know. But I'll say on his behalf, thanks, Donde, for having me. Because he always
Me?
says that. I
Yeah,
can't
he
say it
does.
quite like
Oh.
I still like that you hadn't even given him a graphic or anything.
No, he has a graphic,
he's-
but like, there's not
I know,
enough
but look.
spots.
No room.
There's no room.
Move it to the other side. I don't know.
Bruh.
Move something.
You know, if he uses cam, we would make the room for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
See?
no, we would make so the original graphic. Funny you bring this up. The original graphic only had 2 spots, and
So make it for 4 and put his graphic in.
I
Stop
didn't make this
doing Lotus
graphic.
Knight dirty.
I didn't make this graphic. Okay. I will work on a new graphic to update and to get a 4th spot that will never be used by a camera.
Hey, you never
Just
know.
specifically
The Lotus,
for Lotus.
the Lotus face reveal stream is going to be like super hype THL event
Highest
right there.
viewership
Yeah.
in THL history.
Everyone at
I'm
THL
trying
is
to
gonna
think
come to
of
that
like
stream.
I'm trying to think of who else doesn't do. Is there anyone else that never like
Ron didn't for a
100% never?
while.
Yeah, Ron
But
did it for
he
a
is-
while.
he
Base
is-
is always Cyndaquil, no matter what.
True.
So
Yeah, okay, yeah, but like, true. I've seen base though, like, and
okay.
I've been on like 3 teams with Lotus now, and I've never seen anything.
Well, Ted uses a fake cam. Like, it's never him
Yeah.
because he's Navi. So
True.
I don't know
He just
why.
uses a looped
Yeah,
recording.
he uses a loop recording of a different human that's not Navi. I don't know who it is, but it's not Ted.
Well, or he pays the other guy to do Saloon every week.
Yeah, and just like it's somebody like there's like a tape delay and they're just mouthing the words
Yeah.
that he says. It's like really
Exactly.
well done. It's executed very perfectly, which is impressive for a Fiverr account. You would think that
Wow.
you wouldn't get that type of quality, but for $5, it goes a long way, man. All right,
True.
we've derailed seriously at this point.
Yeah, we did.
This is how we do to end the show. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Best of luck in all your matches as always this week. Hopefully, they go well. If I picked you, if I did not pick you, I do hope they go less well for you, just because I got to catch up with Brushy. But that's nothing personal. It's just business. So, thanks again. We'll be back tomorrow night, of course, with Tavern Talk. That is starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. That talks about our Legacy series. We, as a group, as a team, will be back next Wednesday for HearthCenter 9 p.m. Same channel. Please tune in. We've got matches coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got a ton of them this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're still looking for one match on Saturday. I'll have to go back to my sheet here. So I will be in touch with people to try and make that happen. But Until then, thank you. Have a good night, and see you in the Discord.